Oh, hi there. Quick question. Have you ever dreamed of, being able to fix your hair, like you used to do with your little Lego people, where you could just, plug a new hairstyle in and be done and not have to worry about all that other stuff? Uh, what, just me? Yeah, maybe it's, because I'm autistic, but I've always like resented how much work hair is. And if you are a woman or you live with a woman with longer hair, you know what a dreadful chore it is and expensive, and the bathroom is full of stuff, probably of shampoo, conditioner, shampoo to clarify hair, shampoo to fix frizzy hair, frizz fixing serum, got all the brushes, the hair straighteners, the combs, the pins, the hair bands, then hair everywhere, hair collecting in the drain, hair spooling into your vacuum cleaner, hair on the bed sheets, on the sofa. I mean, I could go on and on. It's so annoying. All the work, the expense. The hairdresser, being forced to sit in the chair and not even being able to read, having to look at yourself, potentially having to do small talk, and that can be hit or miss. I like talking with people, that are cool, but sometimes it can be pretty draining. And then the worst thing is, if you never had good hair, if your hair was always like brittle, kind of thin, you do all that work and then it doesn't even look good. So at some point you might go, I'm tired of all that crap. What if I just shave my hair off and just wear wigs? Or maybe more likely you go and go for the gateway drug, which is hair pieces, which is something that you can clip into your hair and that makes it look, nice and presentable and full. And if you don't have bangs, you can clip in bangs. And yeah, I've been down that whole route over the last few years and just wanted to talk about it because I suspect it has to do with me being on the spectrum. I think neurotypical women, maybe they don't mind as much putting in the effort, but I think there's also the social aspect of hair, and then a lot of intricacies, like, some women might go like, well, wig sounds kind of convenient, but, what if I go to a pool party, somebody throws me into the pool? Or what, if, somebody wants to run their fingers through my hair? And to me, they either don't apply or they are just not as important to me. Like, what's the chance that I suddenly gain a lot of friends, get invited to a pool party, and get thrown into the water? That's like 1 in a billion. And a part of somebody touching my hair, maybe I would have worried about that more when I was younger. And in fact, I'll talk about something that happened to me here in a little bit. If you're a man, do not touch a woman's head or hair, like unless you're in a relationship or something. Oh God, that's just the worst. But wow, I already digress. So 2 things up front. Somebody might say, oh, why don't you just cut your hair off, wear it short? And you know what? Good point. And when I looked up, cutting off my hair on YouTube, I actually found a lot of videos of young women who cut off their luscious long hair and just go short. And I admire that, but I'm in my early 50s, so I grew up. My formative years were in the 80s, where you were supposed to have like Farrah Fawcett hair, like really big hair. It's really hard to get over that. And yeah, I like the modern hairstyles. And in fact, my biggest pet peeve with the wig industry is that most wigs are sort of aimed at older women, and then like this is the latest catalog of Paula Young. If you once buy something from them, the mailman will think that you're into Golden Girls hairstyles. But yeah, I admire the young women who do just the middle part now, and actually not showing a lot of hair is kind of in, or having that slicked back hair or ponytail, or even cutting your hair off is trendy. But I can't shake the feeling that the style doesn't suit me. I have like this giant head, so I feel there has to be a little bit hair or some hairstyle to just distract from that huge forehead and all that. And then of course there's that cliche of the Karen, the middle-aged woman who goes and complains to the manager all the time, and she has that asymmetrical, bob haircut. And there's something nice about having long hair, feeling at least a little bit feminine. And as an autistic woman, I often just don't feel I fit in well. I don't feel like all these typical women who just have an easy way, just feeling sexy and feminine, and like having a bit longer hair is almost like my last thing to hang on to that. And so for these and so many reasons, just wigs sounded appealing to me. What I did not realize is like how hard it is to make it actually look good, and how expensive that can become too. And I'll get into all the reasons later. But that's also a reason why I wanted to make this video, because a lot of wig videos on YouTube are by women who just absolutely love wigs or love hair pieces, and they just rave about all the advantages. But especially if you don't want to switch from a ton of maintenance of your regular hair to suddenly doing a ton of maintenance and prepping and fixing for the wig, then you might run into what you might have noticed in my last few videos, where it's it sort of looks good, but it looks a little bit off. And of course, as autistic people, we have that enough where we like almost fit in and then kind of fail a little bit. Anyway, so this definitely has to become a multi-parter, because I want to talk about my motivations, and then I want to talk about different things I've tried, maybe about hair pieces, and then when and how I decided to go full wig, and then the process of picking out wigs online and ordering them, and surprising ways in which wigs might work or not work. And then the problems, of course, there's rightfully rarely an item that is so difficult to return as a wig. Of course, you wouldn't want to wear a wig that has been tried on before, and you almost have to modify wigs a little bit with product before you can even find out if it really looks good on you. And at that point, you've already ruined it. But again, stuff I'll talk about later. So the other big question here might be, men watching this. How about men? They might have the same problems. Should they go the same route? And I would say absolutely not. I mean, I don't want to be sexist, but it's just absolutely not the same. Hair loss on men is natural. I mean, you can have a hairline like way back as you grow older, and it looks completely natural. Think of the same thing on a woman. Think if a woman had the same hairstyle as Steve Leto or whatever. If you have thinning hair, just shave it off. It looks badass. It makes people think of Vin Diesel, Bruce Willis. It's sexy. With women, like a bald head makes people think of like a cancer patient. Or now, unfortunately, Jada Pinkett Smith, the wife of the Oscar slapper. Now, if you're a very, very young man, like in your early 20s, and you start losing your hair, I mean, there was that very viral video of these young guys, slapping on their hair pieces, and it, each has sort of a amazing transformation. So maybe in that case, especially as young women are maybe more superficial and do care about a man's looks more, and so people in their 20s tend to date way more. So there's of course that surgeon, I forgot his name now, I think Gary, I wouldn't say Gary V, not Gary V, Gary something.
My current state related to alopecia areata. So I've had some minimal eyelash regrowth and a few eyebrow hairs, which I can show you right here. Nothing to brag about, but I feel like something is starting.
Like a surgeon who himself has like severe hair loss, and he makes these great videos about other people's hairs and hair plugs and hair pieces, and it's so interesting that he himself decided to just go full bald, and he's so inspiring, and he really shows that I mean first impressions matter, but on second and third impression it's really about that person's aura, it's about their charisma, and if somebody has a great vibe, then the hair really doesn't matter all that much. And you know what, now that I cut my hair off, when I look in the mirror, sometimes I go like, oh yeah, I could just go with a pixie cut now. The only thing is, with this YouTube channel, I feel like, still trying to look good, trying to look, where somebody sees the thumbnail and goes like, in another sense, this is a woman, talking about women's issues, among other things. And honestly, I understand that a lot of this is coping, and who knows where my journey, takes me eventually. But right now, still, wigs are fun, makes me feel feminine, and I don't have to look at my, thinning hair with the split ends and, the scalp that, easily even gets sunburned. And that's actually a big plus of a wig, that, you underestimate, how much hair shields your face from the sun. And as I ride around on my bike now and stuff, it's really nice to have hair on the sides, and even to be able to pull hair forward and shield your face, because you don't want a ton of sun exposure, especially as you get older. Oh, and I haven't even talked about graying yet. That what a mess, to color your hair, and you have to sort of constantly color it, and then you buy sprays to fill in the regrowth, and and that topic powder to make the hair look full. What a mess. But I feel I haven't talked enough yet about my specific sensory issues around hair, because that was also a big thing. I feel it has to do with me being autistic, and I actually found one other channel, woman, like channel names called like I Am Mind Blind, where she talked about how she just absolutely hates the feeling coming out of the shower of having like a single hair draped somewhere on your skin. And I was like, yes, somebody who feels the same way, because like a single hair somewhere on my skin, and it could just be anywhere. It could just be a hair trapped in my bra, or a hair that just lands on my arm, and it's just, I just hate that sensation. And sometimes it can be hard to find the hair or brush it off, especially if it's like wet or whatever. Could maybe be a little bit of an allergy, because I don't remember that from Germany, but here, of course, I live on the East Coast. It's very humid. The air traveled across the whole continental, US to get here, so it's maybe not the freshest, cleanest hair. But I feel if I'm outside, even for a few minutes, I have to shampoo my hair clean, and wash it, dry it, before I go to bed, because otherwise, if I lay my head like on my arm and have that outside hair, oh my God, everything starts to itch, and it's like a million times worse than with clean hair. So to me, the trend is kind of crazy, where people say like, oh, I quit shampooing. That was never an option for me. And I mean, it's such a hassle to, not to have long hair or semi-long hair, and then to have to constantly shampoo it. And sometimes like my skin would start itching, or like I would lie in bed and go like, damn, I took out the trash earlier and then forgot to wash my hair, and have to get back up. And so that's an aspect I love now. I cut off my hair, and now it's like super easy to, in the shower, just quickly wash my hair, and drying is a breeze, and so it's worth it, just for that. And then, of course, because I hate the feeling of hair touching my skin. I mean, I can sort of tolerate it here while I film the videos. And of course, that's not real hair, that's synthetic hair. But in regular life, when I had long natural hair, I would always wear it in a very tight ponytail, to just get it all out of my face, not have anything touch, not have hair touch my face. And of course, that doesn't help with hair loss, when you just always pull your hair very tight. But yeah, I'm feeling this is already getting too long. I really want to make this a multi-parter. So in this video, I talked a little bit about my motivations, my sensory issues, my general thoughts about wigs, struggles with natural hair. And then in follow-up videos, I will go and talk about my journey with different things that I tried, hair pieces, wigs. I might even go through a try-on of different wigs that I bought, why they worked or didn't work. As fake as this looks, this is actually by far like the better wig that I found. And you don't have many shots, because good wigs are unfortunately so expensive. You need that monofilament that makes the hairline look natural. And hairlines, gosh, I can do a whole video just about hairlines. You probably have not thought much of your hairline unless you're actually losing hair. But oh god, the most difficult thing is to make the hairline look natural. Because that's where your new hair, it's like where hair is growing out of your head. And if you don't have hair problems, it looks a certain way. It's very, very difficult to recreate that with wigs. And in fact, wigs are of course very popular in the African American community here in the States. And by the way, I could talk about that for a long time too, because when I came over, I did not realize that so many black women wear wigs. So I was like always, wow, they have this shiny, nice, completely flat hair and they look so good. And for the longest time, I didn't realize how many black women actually wear wigs. And that's another thing where it kind of pushed me over the edge. Like, hey, in some circles, it's like completely common to wear wigs. Or Orthodox Jewish women. Like, have you watched the show Jewish Matchmaking, which is actually pretty good on Netflix? The troubles and tribulations if you're very conservative and want to date. The middle-aged women on that show probably, they all must wear wigs, but they wear those very expensive, human hair wigs called sheitel, I think in Yiddish. Because in their faith, a married woman is not allowed to show her natural hair. Yeah, you can watch that show and see the mothers of the 20 or 30 somethings that are trying to date, and those mothers all have this healthy looking not natural hair, but you can't tell because those wigs are just so good. But in the end, like all wigs almost end up looking sort of fake, especially if you have like this older face than with really luscious hair. And I'll probably make a whole video just about what's wrong with the wig industry. Besides that, most wig hairstyles are just like so outdated. There's like, you can't like recreate, or it's very difficult, it's very expensive to recreate like really modern hairstyles with wigs. But also that, wigs typically have like 125% or 150% hair density. So I think that means like, 50% more hair density than the average person. And I need like less density. I would love if there were wigs where it just looks natural because it'll look more like aging woman hair. If you have any idea how to make that happen, let's go on Shark Tank, because I think there would be a big demand. Because so many women in reviews complain that wigs have like that permatease. They are poofy. Some of the biggest celebrity hair wig lines like Raquel Welch. I think she died earlier this year. And wow, what a iconic actress. But she had her heyday in the 70s and maybe mostly 70s. And gosh, those wigs just have just have a humongous amount of hair, and then if you have the added trouble where your head is so big as mine, then some people might say, oh, just wear a large size wig. Some wigs come in large size, not many, but then you order that, and that's really you get like drag queen hair. Sorry if that's offensive, but wigs never look like they look on the pictures you see on the website. And it's so important to try to avoid that shock where you order something that looks great and then you get it, and you're in complete shock as you put it on, and it looks nothing like you expected, and you hate it and have to deal with all the hassle of returning. But so much for video 1 in my series, and look forward to follow-up videos where I actually show some wigs and hair pieces and talk about my real life experiences. And some of that stuff will be so embarrassing and some will be really surprising. It's been a long journey, but you can look forward to that, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.